There are many members who associated with me for the last 35 years, still they cannot pronounce my name. This is the difficulty. It's quite natural. Now, if I want to use Chinese language, I too have to face the same problem. I cannot pronounce clearly. So, but they were very fortunate to have 3 Indian scholars who have visited China to help them. And they have studied Chinese language also. Bodhidharma, Kumarajiva, and Kassapa Matanga, these are the 3 scholars who have visited China. Most of them are from South India. And they have supported, assisted Chinese to translate those texts into Chinese language. But even then, when you compare, the scholars can find out the vast difference. The way how they have interpreted, not accurate. But they had the courage and knowledge to do that. Now, many of those sutras in Chinese language, the Chinese monk perform some religious ceremonies, they recite the sutras, but they too cannot understand that classical Chinese. The real meaning, and the monks from Thailand and Burma and Sri Lanka who used this language for chanting and blessings. See, there are 10 monks who recite these sutras. Amongst them, maybe 1 or 2 can understand the real meaning of these sutras, but others can recite. To understand the real meaning, we have to spend many years to study the language grammatically. After that, we can point out when another person distorts in their translation, either in English or any other language, we can understand. So this interpretation is not accurate. The ideas, concept are going on changing from time to time because of this problem. When they use some other languages, always changes take place, not in the original form. So still we like to use this language because we introduced this as the Buddha language, a language used by the Buddha. But we interpret, translate and explain. To understand the teachings of the Buddha, it is not compulsory for you to study the Pali language. So today there are so many books in English, especially those who are English educated, they can understand the teaching. But even then there are some problems because the translation is not accurate. Another answer, when we are going to recite or conduct a religious service, blessing service, there are Chinese. But Chinese also, they have their own dialects. One cannot understand the other. Then Indians, Thai, Sinhalese, Europeans, Japanese, Koreans, then how are we going to conduct this service? What language are we going to use to conduct this? The easiest way is to use the same original language, all of them to follow, then we interpret. And settle that problem also. Another reason. Now this particular sutra or discourse, always we recite to bless the devotees, for blessing purpose. This is not a sermon. But these are not advices given by the Buddha. All the great qualities and virtues and perfection of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, you can find here in this sutra. So, we explain all the good qualities. Every word gives a meaning. Because sutras are not like mantra. Some people ask, what is the difference between sutra and mantra? I still cannot understand. This word mantra you cannot find in the Buddha's teaching. At that time only Brahmins and Hindus, in Sanskrit language, they use this word mantra. In many of those mantras, we cannot catch a meaningful sentences, just only words. But the sutras are not like that. In the sayings of the Buddha, every word convey meaningful ideas or advices or virtues or good qualities. So the mantras were not uttered by the Buddha. Later, different schools of Buddhism incorporated, introduced as Buddhism. The sutras were uttered by the Buddha. Again, I have told you, even in this book, there are certain recitals here like Jina Panjara, Jayamangala Gatha, Mahajayamangala Gathas. These are not sutras. These are the gathas. Gathas means stanzas or poem in the Pali language, composed by the disciples of the Buddha. So these gathas were not uttered by the Buddha. But in these gathas also you can find the same good qualities and virtues of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Then, how do we give the blessing? Now this is another problem. For that, many things are important, not only one or two. Mere recital is not enough. Now when you recite a mantra, you cannot understand anything, just you go on reciting, thinking that you can gain something, that's wrong. Or you can avoid something. But this sutra is not like that. When you recite this, if you can understand what you recite, then you get more understanding, confidence, and develop your devotion. You strengthen your mind through that understanding. The second point is, just now I told you these words were uttered by the Buddha. And he has mentioned in his teaching why these recitals or sutras are effective. More than 2,500 years ago, the Buddha has passed away. 2,529 years ago, the Buddha has passed away. But still we are using the word uttered by the Buddha. And all over the world, people say that they experience some good result, big relief, protection, to avoid their problems, disturbances. The secret was revealed by the Buddha. The power of the Buddha word. That is why we don't use our own language for this blessing. The power of the Buddha word. What is that power? He said, when he was working life after life, not within one lifetime, by observing the precept or sila or morality or principles, by training his mind, gaining his knowledge, he tried his best to avoid all the evil, wrong things. Try to observe the precept, virtues. Even then, occasionally, he has violated some of them. Because still he was a worldly man. He was not a Buddha, a holy man at that time. Had been working for that. Such as killing, or stealing, or sexual misconduct, or intoxicant, and some other mistake occasionally, but not like an ordinary man. But one particular precept, he said, he has never violated from the very day when he developed this determination in his mind that he wants to become a Buddha. He maintained this determination for a longer period, only in the mind. Because his lifetime, previous birth, divided into three groups. Mano panidhaya, vak panidhaya, kaya panidhana. First started with determination, a strong conviction, thinking, I must become a Buddha, this determination. Later, he used his word. He started to tell others that one day I must become a Buddha. But that is not enough. Then he tried to guard his tongue to avoid wrong things through our tongues that we commit, telling lies and all sort of. Develop the second part. After that, Kaya Panidhan, by using his body, physical body, working, serving, supporting others, sacrificing his life. How many times he has sacrificed the whole life. To him, it is a great pleasure. Whenever he gets the chance to save others, even at the risk of his life, he feels very happy. Not like us. We try to save our life at the cost of others' life. He tried to serve others by sacrificing his life. That is how he became a Buddha. So when you read many of those previous birth stories known as Jataka stories, you can understand what he has done. That is why when he was seated under the Bodhi tree, after working for a long period, you know the trouble that he has two faces created by evil forces, Mara, challenge. The Buddha did not surrender. He was alone. But he did not surrender. Mara threatened him, forced him to get out from that place. The Buddha says, he was not Buddha yet. He said, no. I'm not going to obey you. Then he said, you have no right to come and sit down here. Then the Buddha said, I have every right. I haven't got anybody else here to prove what I have done to come and sit down here. But there are some, they are not human beings. We have been watching for a long period what I have done. That is why in certain Buddha images you can see the hand like this, pointing. The sun and the moon, they have seen what they have done. Because they existed a long period. Again, in certain images you can see hand pointing to the ground like this. I say, this earth knows what I have done. This is more than enough. That means he has completed everything. So he said, after gaining his enlightenment, that I never misused my tongue to tell lies. Because human beings are the only living beings in this world who tell lies. Do you know that? Others do not know how to tell lies. So that is the most difficult thing for us to observe. We think without telling lies we cannot live. We think. That is our way of life. Even then, he had the courage to observe this particular precept, not to tell lie. Then the power of the Buddha word are based on this. See, these words have come out from the mouth of a holy man who never uttered a lie. So this kind of sutras explain the good qualities and virtues. Then the power of perfection, the holiness and the virtues, when combined together, become a very strong, very energetic force. So when the devotees recite or listen with devotion, confidence and understanding, can experience good results. Now see how many factors are there now. Simply by listening without paying attention. It is not listening, hearing. Hearing is one thing, listening is another thing. You can hear while thinking something else, but you cannot listen. If you want to listen, you have to concentrate. So, listen with confidence and devotion. When you do that, what will happen? A lot of changes take place in your mind. You do not know that. Psychologists can explain. Many changes take place. The stiffness, stubbornness, skeptical ideas and ignorance slowly disappear from your mind when you pay attention with confidence. So you have to attune your mind to listen. When you read, you have to concentrate by using only this organ, eye organ, connected to the mind, then concentrate. When you listen, then sound vibration absorb into the elements of the body. You do not know that. When we say elements, you take all these visible or solid or tangible things as elements. Here, elements means the basic energies which turn into elements. Understand? So when we analyze the elements, in the end we can see only energies, no elements. So this sound vibration harmonize the basic element. Basic elements means energies in our physical body. Then changes take place in the physical body, especially in the brain and the heart. Vibration. When this vibration harmonize with your devotion and confidence, then you experience a big relief. Psychologically, spiritually, you can see the differences. You see how many things are there. So we never refer to any external forces, either God or Brahma or any other supernormal or supernatural powers for this. But all the others come and tell you, or some spirits enter into your body and influence you, disturb you, support you, protect you. But here, the Buddha has diverted pure mental energy with devotions and confidence and understanding. This mental energy is more powerful than any other kind of energies in this world. We do not know that. So when you recite or when you listen, try to avoid all the other objects which disturb our mind through our senses, five senses. Concentrate directly towards your recital or hearing, at least for a few minutes. But you do not know at that time you develop certain mental energies in your mind because you have stopped all the other objects and try to guard your mind from these sources. Then inside your mind at that time work only devotion, confidence and understanding. After that you can see the good result. Then the disturbances that come from external sources. Almost every day people come and tell there are some disturbances, evil forces entered into the body, spirits have entered into the body, into the house, and this and that. Every day this problem. To me, there is no such problem. Evil spirits never enter into my body or into my room also, never, because I don't believe it. If I believe, I also have to face the same problem. In your case, you cannot. You cannot avoid, because you strongly believe, oh, there are. How can we say there are no such things? The very day you learn how to ignore all these things, then your mental energy, the mind that you have strengthened, can throw away all this rubbish. So when I go out, all the spirits run away, scared of me. I am not scared of them, because I don't believe, I don't care for them. If they exist, I also can live with them. No problem, they cannot disturb me. Fear that you develop in your mind create all these problems. And why this fear appears in your mind always? I'm sorry I have to use the word that I always use. Because of your ignorance and stupidity. You are ignorant. You do not know. If that ignorance is not there, that undue or unnecessary fear never appears in that mind. So I have no such fear. If I happen to see a living devil, I can go and talk, because that fear is no more in my mind. So we had to develop our mind up to that extent. So we had to develop our mind up to that extent. Then you can throw away all these rubbish ideas, belief that you maintain. Since you maintain such belief, this kind of sutras, chantings are very important for your protection. So when you develop faith and confidence through this, then all the evil forces that exist in your mind, internal and external, also slowly withdraw. And I don't want to say that there are no spirits or some evil forces. They do exist. But we invite trouble because of our fear. That is the secret. If we leave them alone without creating that fear in our mind, they cannot disturb us. I have read in an article, dogs have very strong instinct. This instinctive power they always use. That is why the police use dogs to catch heroin and opium and this and that, the smell. But human beings cannot. They have lost that instinct. But animals still maintain this instinct. When a dog comes to attack you, barking, if you develop fear at that time, but not so easy to avoid it, if you develop fear at that time, then very easily you become the victim to this dog. Because this dog catch something from your body is created through the fear. Something spread from your body also. The animal can catch it. If you develop your strength without fear and stand firmly, you see that dog cannot attack. Because that smell is not there. Now, there are many things still that we do not know. So in the same way, so when you develop our confidence, self-confidence in our mind, all those external spirits also cannot disturb. Because our mental energy becomes more powerful than theirs. Although we have human intelligence, we surrender to those stupid spirits. They are real stupid. But you are intelligent. But you abuse your intelligence by creating that fear. Later, you experience so many sicknesses. All these sicknesses appear because of that fear. The Buddha has explained these things very clearly. Advices given by the Buddha to those monks who go out and stay in the cemetery where there are dead bodies, who stay in the jungle for years. How to avoid disturbances by developing this? We have no self-confidence, completely lost. What a pity. We have wonderful human intelligence. But always we grumble, complain about devil or ghost or spirits or God. But you cannot understand that your human mind is more powerful than anything else in this world. You are very timid now. You shiver, you shout, you cry because of that fear. The Buddha never tried to introduce fear in the man's mind, to introduce a religion. He wanted to wipe out this fear from your mind. But still you maintain. You go mad sometimes because of that. Your insecurity, feeling. You do not know how to balance your mind. You commit suicide because of this. So you do not know the real value of your mind, human mind. Nobody else in this universe who got human intellect, intelligence that you have. Because human beings can develop this up the maximum level. Others cannot do that. Others continue by following what they have developed when they were human beings. Take for instance, after our death, assume rebirth may take place in so-called heaven or as one of the devas. How did they get the chance to become a deva? Because of the good karma or the merits or the virtues that they have developed when they were human beings. Otherwise they never get the chance. If they were animals, they never get the chance. Or ghost or any other kind of spirits, they never get this chance. Some others may go to Brahma, higher than Deva, higher than heaven. Rebirth can take place. How did they gain that? By developing their mind when they were human beings on this earth. That mental development, that purity paved the way for them to have that particular superior to human beings, their way of life. That is the reward they gain for the development of their mind. Mostly those who have developed their mind through meditation. And there they can experience more peaceful, very calm and very happy life without fear and tensions and worries and disturbances. So, human beings can develop all these things. To become a god or to become a deva or to become a Brahma. But they have less chances there to start. So what they have developed when they were human beings, they can continue from there. Simple example, sainthood. To attain, now we are working to find out our final salvation, to get rid of all these problems, nuisance. That is called final salvation. So after working, then we attain sainthood. First stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, and after that, will be free. And those who have developed up to the third stage of sainthood, if they die without gaining the last stage, what will happen? Rebirth take place in one particular Brahma world called Suddhavasa, pure abode, Brahma world. Peaceful, happy, contented life there. But they never return to this world again because this is a dirty world. You can see how people are fighting, killing every day. Like cats and dogs also never kill like this. They fight for a short while, next time they become friends. And here, millions of them, almost every day fighting, killing, burning, shooting, cutting. So this is a dirty world. To avoid all these problems, they never return to this world. They experience a peaceful, calm and contented life there. Then, the balance, the rest, they develop from there. Attain final goal, nirvana. They never come back to this worldly life. So everything we have to start from human life. Animal life, spirit, or ghost, or devas, or brahmas also cannot start. That is why human life is valuable. So, the nature of our existence here on this earth, you can understand according to our own experience. No need to study any religion. Your own experiences are more than enough. What sort of life? Are you happy with your life? Why do you grumble always? When you talk to people, what do they say? There are problems. Only their vocabulary, how are you? Oh, fine, thank you. But they are suffering from everything, but they say, fine, thank you. These are sugar-coated words they use. But when you analyze, you can understand how many kind of worries, responsibilities, uncertainty, unhappiness, disturbances you have mentally. Again, physically, how many sicknesses have developed and slowly developing you do not know. Then after middle age, certain indication appear. These things are developing every moment, physically and mentally. This is the nature of our life. No one can avoid, although we crave for this. When we got fed up, we have no other choice, then commit suicide in the end. Cannot tolerate anymore. But that is not the end of it. By doing that, they invite more trouble in the next life. Because they have departed from this world with polluted mind, with frustration, with unsatisfied desire. That is why they want to commit suicide. They could not gain what they wanted, then decided to commit suicide. But many others had the courage to face. Now we are struggling. So, we are going on reciting sutras, going on reciting mantras, using talisman, go and pray in each and every temple to this god and that god, and go and pray to anybody. Why all these problems? Why do we behave like this? Is it not due to our ignorance? Because ignorance creates fear. That fear creates suspicion, imagination. Then we continue one after the other. Actually, we abuse our human intelligence by behaving like this. The Buddha thought that human beings can understand what he is going to explain. But it clearly shows that we cannot understand. So by using his name, by using the religion introduced by him, we do something else according to our own satisfaction. But it will become a failure in the end. We must have that understanding. Then we never get frustration, never get disappointment, because we know this is the nature of life, nature of existence, nature of world. Everything in this world that which exists, going on changing. Can you stop all these things by praying to anybody? This understanding is very important. Then we can satisfy. We know these things are natural. Not to me, not to my family, or not only to human beings, not only to living beings, even plant life also experience the same problem. Why? What is the cause? Some others say, it is an original sin. One original sin spreading is a contagious sickness, one after the other. It is not any kind of original sin. This is the nature of existence. What is this existence? Just now I told you, life, any kind of life, the plants appear as a visible object. Some are movable or moving, others stand like trees. They are not moving. We are moving, but we are also trees. Then how this formation has taken place? The combinations of thousands of elements and energies. We do not know the name. Known and unknown. We use only 4 elements and 4 mental energies, that's all. But how many other factors, cosmic energies? So all these things are working together. When they work together, then the friction, clashes always take place. Otherwise no existence, no life. This is not created by anybody at once. Those who cannot understand this situation, introduced or created by somebody. And then the nature of this existence as a bundle, various elements and energies create friction, then sicknesses, old age, unhappiness, unsatisfactoriness experience because of this friction. Not done by a god or devil or religion. All these are natural occurrences. That is what the Buddha wanted to tell us. But can we understand this? So we go and pray and asking this God and that God to stop all these things. How can they stop? These are natural things. Can you stop your old age by praying to any God? Is there any God in this world who can do that for you? To remain forever as youth? Can you stop all your sicknesses by praying to anybody? Can you stop? Can you stop your death or your family problems that you are facing almost every day, fighting with each other? God or devils or ghosts are not responsible for this. Your own mind is responsible for all your family problems. Then you blame somebody else. If you know how to train your mind, how to adjust your mind, how to observe certain good qualities and virtues disciplined in your mind, there won't be any family problem between husband and wife and parents and children, brothers and sisters. No problem. Your mind creates all this. Your jealousy, your anger, your enmity, your problem, your crazy attitude create all these problems. Then how can outsiders stop all these things? So, religious blessings is very important to us because we are ignorant. Not only that, all those who are enlightened, holy, perfect, like the Buddhas, Arahantas, also had to face so many problems, physical problems. When you read that Paritta chanting books, you can understand. That means they are also not free. Then what about you? Because of these elements and energies, because they are not holy. The physical body is not holy, only mind. Holiness, purity, enlightenment, perfection remains in the mind, not in the physical body. Then how can you maintain a healthy, perfect physical body without facing problems? Mostly our mind create more problems, but in their case, their minds never create any problem. But nature, elements, energies, the Buddha had to suffer from many kinds of sicknesses. Why such a holy man had to suffer? He had not done anything wrong. Why many Arahantas had to suffer from various sicknesses? At that time, Buddha has recommended this. Go and chant, recite this. For what purpose? For them to concentrate, because Arahanta's knowledge, understanding about the nature and the life is not like the Buddha's. Their minds are very holy and pure, but understanding is not like the Buddha's understanding. So when they were sick, the Buddha has advised. Even though the Buddha himself visited them and recited and allowed them to concentrate. See, the physical body is like this. All these sicknesses, one after the other, can appear. These are natural occurrences. And the purity in our mind, when we maintain, we can subdue we can overcome our pain. But we cannot stop sicknesses. The Buddha, when he was about to pass away, he had a very bad stomach problem, dysentery, purging blood. Then he said he had very severe pain in his stomach, unbearable pain. He told Anand. I thought, he said, I'm going to die. But I knew it's still too early for me to die, because my disciples are not matured enough. I had to train them further. So by using his mental energy, focusing his mind towards the area where the sickness appeared, he stopped that pain. This is called mental therapy. We also can do that. If we concentrate directly towards one particular area where our sickness is, after that we forget the pain. It's a mental therapy. Sickness remains, but the pain disappears. Through meditation, many people are doing that. So the Buddha, he did that. So then the pain disappears, but the sickness remains. No one can wipe out the sickness. So this kind of chanting, sutras, are important for various purposes. If we concentrate directly, we feel a very big relief. Our worries and fear and many sicknesses, because sicknesses appear due to our mental pollution, impurities of the mind. When anger or jealousy appear in our mind, these forces can create so many sicknesses later. In the grudge or enmity we develop in our mind, we do not know. Many damages take place in our brain and the heart and the blood circulation. These are poisonous forces we produce, later turn into sicknesses. So when you concentrate, stopping all these anger, jealousy, anxieties, cravings, selfish ideas, at least for a short while. Now you are listening to my talk. You have forgotten all those things. Your jealousy and anger and greed and selfishness, you have forgotten for the time.